So we're just 3 weeks away from Election Day. Pennsylvania is poised to be one of the most critical battleground states this cycle. CBS News polling shows both former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. You see it right here, a neck and neck in the Keystone State. They're competing for Pennsylvania's critical 19 electoral votes. Yesterday, Donald Trump's town hall event just outside of Philadelphia was seemingly cut short when members of the crowd fainted. The former president opted to end his question and answer portion early in favor of playing music for the crowd. Listen to this.
We had everything. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're going to bring it back bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Go and vote. Let me hear that music, please.
And it played for a good half hour after that. At her event in northeastern Pennsylvania, Vice President Kamala Harris spoke about Trump's suggestion that he would use the military to go after his political enemies.
He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country.
CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes is following both campaigns for us from Washington. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning. The only similarity between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's appearances in Pennsylvania yesterday was that they went after each other. Donald Trump calling Kamala Harris not a smart woman. Harris said that Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged. In fact, she played a video of one of his latest comments where he talked about having the military go after the enemy within. He was talking about radical liberal people here in this country. That set off a lot of alarm bells, not only on the left, but throughout the political world, hearing him talking about using the military potentially on American citizens. Harris said he's talking about the fact that he considers anybody who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. Earlier in the day, she released an economic plan that is tailored to black men, a key constituency that this campaign is a little bit concerned about right now. She has been holding events that are primarily focused on winning over more black men, men she'll need if she wants to win this election in very close states. Donald Trump, on the other hand, in a town hall outside of Philadelphia, held an event where he was focused on support from suburban women. But it was a curious situation at that event. There were a couple of people who needed medical assistance, and he commented on that. And after just a few questions from South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem in a planned Q&A, he basically cut off the question and answer phase and just called for music to be played for the next 40 minutes or so. He just stood there on the stage, kind of swaying, dancing a little bit to some of his favorite songs from Pavarotti, from Guns N' Roses, and no one could quite understand, even some puzzled faces in the room about what exactly was going on. Errol?
All right, Nancy, thank you for that. Our Natalie Brand spoke with voters in Pennsylvania about what it's like living in such a hotly contested state this election cycle.
Good evening, Pennsylvania!
If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's over.
Both presidential candidates know the road to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is likely paved through the state itself.
I would be shocked if the ultimate winner of the election wasn't the person who won Pennsylvania.
University of Pennsylvania professor Matt Lewandowski says the state's urban-rural divide rolls into campaign strategy.
Kamala Harris will be looking to do really well in not just Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and their suburbs, but also in some of the smaller cities. Donald Trump will more be looking to run up the score, especially in more rural and exurban areas in the center of the state.
Former President Donald Trump is also fighting to hold support in western Pennsylvania, where energy is a key industry.
Kamala doesn't give a frack about you.
He's accusing Vice President Kamala Harris of flip-flopping on fracking, which she now says she will not ban. Harris is making her own play for rural Republicans with ads like this one.
Yes, we're both lifelong Republicans.
All part of the tens of millions of dollars bombarding the airwaves.
Depending on which way it goes, I'm kind of ready for it to be over.
Ashley Ringelberg and her husband Sean Foy feel the weight of their votes in this battleground.
It's probably a pretty good encapsulation of America. It's a mess. And it has a lot of interesting problems to solve.
They've already made up their minds for Harris.
What are your top issues?
Gun control, environment, but I'd also include women's rights.
For Joy, who lives in the same Philadelphia suburb, security and support of Israel are her priorities. She's backing Trump.
And it's not because I love the man, but I like his policies a lot better.
Christine Gatta, who supported Nikki Haley during the primary, still undecided.
I don't like either candidate, and I really don't know what to do. They'll be the ones.
She says not voting is not an option in a state that could decide the 47th president. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Ardmore, Pennsylvania.